Trees are very important for humans and nature. They improve soil fertility and they avoid erosion. And when it rains, their roots fix the water and make it available for people to grow their crops or to drink. Dead branches can be used as fuel wood, and fruits and nuts and leaves are all very valuable products that a tree provides. So you see that trees cause many different effects, and often these effects are interlinked, and together they create an entire sustainable system. So there's no question that trees are important and necessary. But in this heavily deforested world, where do you start planting trees? At Ecosia, we want to make sure that every euro we invest in reforestation has the biggest positive impact possible. And therefore, we have defined a set of rules and guidelines on where and how we want to plant trees. So the first question is, where do we plant trees? At Ecosia, we have the principle that our reforestation projects should bring value to people and nature. For the human element, we have therefore decided to work in the more poorer regions of this world, where we can have the biggest impact on people's lives. For the biodiversity element, we have decided to guide ourselves by what the scientist Norman Myers called the hotspots of biodiversity. Biodiversity hotspots are areas on our planet that hold plant and tree species that can be found nowhere else and that are completely unique to this region, but that are critically endangered due to heavy deforestation and degradation caused by agriculture, illegal logging, mining, etc. And there's a total of 35 ecosystems that form these hotspots. So as a general rule of thumb, Ecosia prioritizes financing reforestation projects that work in one of these 35 biodiversity hotspots and that are helping poor communities. Once the question on where we plant trees has been solved, the question is how we plant trees. And again, our principle that the project should bring value to people and nature applies here. Let's break it down. Value for nature. What does this mean? Basically 3 things. First of all, we want to make sure that we restore areas that have been forested before. This is because we don't want to do anything unnatural, but it's also a matter of logic. If there has been trees before, apparently there are conditions under which trees can grow, so it increases our chance of success. Secondly, we want to only work with native species and we want to follow natural processes. Again, we don't want to do anything against nature or force nature to go in a direction that actually doesn't work. And thirdly, we want to make sure our projects are part of a wider landscape vision. So where trees can help to restore entire landscapes in contrast to just planting random trees. So what does this mean? Our restoration program is, for example, connecting existing forest patches or is preventing erosion on hill slopes. Now, connecting forest patches means that animals that live in these forests have the opportunity to migrate from the one forest to the other forest when they are in search of water or food or shelter. So our tree planting programs are always part of a wider vision and a wider context. Very importantly, the project should bring value to people. So this first of all means that we want the local villagers to agree on the project. We don't do anything against their will, we work together on the execution of a project. But secondly, we want the people to long-term benefit from the new trees. So think about it, if we only plant trees that have value because of their timber, they will for sure be cut down again. And therefore we work together with the local people to determine which species are actually bringing products and services when they're standing. And we are planting these species, and long term they get additional revenue and additional income because of this. And this is what we call the sustainable business case. So to summarize, Ecosia follows the principle that our project should bring value to people and nature. And we use this to search for projects. So that's why we look into the 35 biodiversity hotspots and we look to work with poor regions. But we also use this principle for the execution on the ground, where we make sure our projects fit into a wider landscape vision and are actually beneficial to the people that live there. Now, in addition, we want to be really transparent about our projects. We want you as a user to know how the tree planting is going. And we also don't want to be afraid to tell you if things are not working out the way we want them. We're open to testing new tree planting methods as well, because we think it allows us, Ecosia, our tree planting partners, the local communities, to learn from each other in how we can best reforest the world in a way that it provides value to people and nature.